Hey, what's up guys, it is Psycho Sam here and welcome back to the channel, and today I'm really excited to bring you guys a brand new tutorial series on my channel where we're going to create a FPS survival game. So a lot of people have been suggesting me to make a series like this because a lot of people want to see me create a FPS game, and in this episode we're specifically going to focus on the FPS part of the game. We're going to be, I'm going to use the FPS controller by Unity with the rigid body so that we have the physics and all that ready for the game. And we're also going to create the hunger, thirst, and health for the player, and I will also import a axe, which is going to be the default weapon the player gets to use throughout the game. And then obviously in the future episodes we're going to add our own weapons, inventory, and all that. And you can probably hear that my voice is a little bit weird today, and that's because I was sick under the weekend. And I also want to apologize for not making this tutorial series as I promised under the weekend, because obviously the reason is because I got sick, like you can hear from my voice. I was not even planning to make any videos today, but I got a little bit better than I expected, so I was like, why not? I literally got nothing to lose. So I am here, or here we are, and we're sitting in front of our computers. I'm making the video and you guys are watching it. And with that being said guys, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I'm really trying to focus on a lot more onto my YouTube channel, and if you have any feedback, let me know in the comments. I really do care about your opinions. So let's get started by adding the axe that I was talking about. So I'm just gonna hit up the asset store here, and if you search for axe, literally this pops up as first. And no, this is not a sponsorship or anything like that. It's not a promoted video. This is just something that I found by Fairy Shop, and it literally pops up as soon as you search for axe, so why not? I've already downloaded it, so I'm just going to import it. It's obviously going to prompt you to download first if you already haven't got this asset onto your account, but it's for free, so I was like, why not use this? It's a basic asset too. So now that this one is imported, I also want to right click into our project tab. I want to go down to import package and then pick characters. So this is going to import a character package for Unity, which includes the rigid body FPS controller that we're going to use. And we are also going to have the scripts and all that imported as well. And we'll see how this goes. And after we actually add in our player, the plan is to create the hunger, thirst, and health for the player. And then if something else pops up, we're also going to focus on that, but it shouldn't be any problem. And also, if you have any questions regarding this tutorial series, like if you don't understand a part of the code or anything, don't bother asking. Like it's or don't bother. I'm not sure if I said it right, but like don't be scared of asking. Basically, we have a beautiful community on this channel, which is going to help you out. So just ask down below. If I'm not fast enough to reply, because you guys are so fast. Notification squad here. So we have the asset now imported, and we're going to get into characters folder, then first person character, and then pick prefabs. And we are going to drag and drop our rigid body FPS controller into our scene. But before we do, I actually want to go to game object, 3D, and then play. As soon as I add this, I just scale this up a little bit, move it down a bit, and then rename it as soon as I am done with that to ground. Okay, so this is going to be the prototype ground that we have for our player and for our scene in general. Now that we have the ground, I also want to remove or delete the main camera object from our scene. And now I want to drag and drop into the rigid body FPS controller into our scene. As soon as I do that, I usually go down below a little bit in the inspector, and I increase height to 2. Okay. And I also usually move up this main camera a little bit. There we go. We can perhaps move these two up a little bit so that we don't see the grid line, because I don't like seeing the grid line all the time. And that's pretty much it. So we can just move down or like move back our player a little bit, and then try the game out by playing it and see if we can move correctly. We can jump, we can rotate, we can look around with the camera and all that, which is perfect. Now that we have that for sure, I want to rename rigid body FPS controller to player. Okay, and now we're also going to create the script for the for creating the hunger, thirst, and all the health system for the player. So we want to get started by creating a new folder into our assets folder. That's wrong, but we will call this for scripts, and we will move this folder into our assets folder so that we have it in the main root. We're gonna open up the folder. We're gonna create a new C# script, and we're gonna call this player script, or perhaps just player. I'm not sure. Let's call it for player and see if we get any errors, because I'm not sure if standard access pack uses any script called player. However, we will drag the player script onto our player object, obviously, and just making sure that it's correctly added here. Alright, so we just open up our player script now. It's gonna open up in Visual Studio for me, but if you're using any other IDE like Mono Develop or whatever, any other compiler, it's not a problem. This is not the script that I want to open. This is the one that I want to open. Alright, so we obviously removed both of these functions that follow up with the script before, because I don't like being basic. I also usually like throwing in a couple of comments. If you're a long-time viewer of mine, you'll already know this. But first and foremost, we want to call this variables. Jump down a little bit and call this one functions. So these are the two different sections for our scripts. And when I say, let's say we're going to create a new variable, right? And you don't really like follow up on the series, then I will probably just say, I'm going to move on to the variable section now, and I'm going to create a new variable. So you'll know that I mean then under this line, which is the comment for variables, but above the functions comment. And the same thing goes, it's like vice versa. The same thing goes for whenever I create a new function. So you shouldn't be in any trouble, but like I said, if you don't understand the part, just let us know in the comments and we will help you out. So first and foremost, we obviously want to create the things that we were talking about recently, which I forgot about. Public float hunger, okay? What I could do here is I could just set comma and then say thirst, comma, and then set health, right? And then we're going to go to the function section, and we're going to say void start, which is going to be our first void. I'm not sure if we're going to use it in this episode, but still, I just want to have it ready. And then we're also going to create void update. All right. Now that this part is created, we also want to say, we're going to go back to variable section, and we're going to say public float. Yeah, we can have it as public float. And then we're going to say hunger increase, thirst increase, and health increase. All right. Perhaps we should have one for public float. Okay. The ones that are hunger, thirst, and health, we're going to set max hunger and max thirst and then max health instead. Okay. And then underneath, right underneath, we're going to say private float, hunger, thirst, and health. Right? So the reason I'm doing this is basically because we're going to have a public float variable for every single one of these factors, which means for health, for thirst, and for hunger. And every one of these are going to be the maximum amount of hunger the player can reach to before dying or exhausting or whatever, right? Or passing out. And we are going to have a private float hunger, which is going to detect what the current hunger is for the player. And we also have hunger increase, etc., for the amount that is going to be increased either every second or every minute or whatever. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go back to function section, and we're going to say instead of our void start, we're going to say health is equal to max health, right? And now inside of our void update, we're going to say comment thirst and hunger. And we're going to say if hunger, let's see here, we want to increase it first and foremost. So we can just say hunger, or perhaps we can have like I don't know, should we have a function? We can actually have it, hunger and thirst, all right? This is to make it a little bit more organized inside of our code. So we're gonna say public void hunger and thirst. Okay, and now instead of this, we're going to say hunger plus plus. Well, it's not going to. We have to say hunger plus equal 1 times time dot delta time, which means that hunger is going to be increased by 1 every second. And we're going to do the same thing for thirst. So plus equal 1 times time dot delta time. All right, and now we're going to say if hunger is greater than or equal to max hunger. Oh, whoops. There we go. Well, we're gonna say comment player dead. Okay, and we're gonna do the same thing for thirst. So if thirst greater than equal max thirst, comment player dead. All right. This is pretty much like we're going to obviously remove the player dead comment, but for the moment being, I'm just gonna keep it so that we know where we are actually killing the player off of the game. Max health. We could actually say public void die. This is a little bit sadist, but I guess we have to keep on doing it. So we can say die. There we go. Sounds like a metal band. No, I didn't say that. I'm sorry. That was a terrible joke. All right, so we have a public a void for dying now, which is ridiculous. But for the moment, we can actually have a print player is dead with caps lock. All right, there we go. Just so that we know that the player is dead, and we have called out a print so that we know visually that the player is actually dead. And we can also say remove this part, and then we can say player health management, and we can say if health is hold on a second. If health, well, we just say 0. I was a little bit confused because we created this a part of max hunger, max thirst, and etc. So I was thinking, are we going to increase health or are we going to decrease it? But obviously we're decreasing it. So, and obviously health is not going to be decreased by every second, so that's why we don't have it included here. If health is lower than or equal to 0, then we're just going to call die. So the player will die there. This is pretty much it. So we can actually go into our game and see how this works out. I also realized, why do we set plus equal 1 instead of hunger increase and thirst increase? So we just say that, and we say increase. There we go. All right, so we go back to Unity. Let me drag it there. There we go. We go back to Unity and we can see all these fields pop up now. They are not going to be touched at all right now because we don't have max hunger or hunger increase, etc. set up to anything. So we can say that max hunger is going to be 100. Max thirst will be 102. Max health will be 100 as well. This is a little bit boring. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set max thirst to 150. Hunger increase, perhaps we can have it like 1 is going to be very much from by every second. So we can say 0.5, and then thirst increase 0.2, I don't know, like something like that. And then we can have health increase. Why am I stupid? We're gonna remove this. There we go. I'm a little bit stupid, I'm sorry. We're not gonna have any health increase because we obviously don't need it because we're not increasing the health. So now we can go into our game. Oh, we don't print it. Hold on a second, I'm sorry. We can go back to Visual Studio once again and we can just say print hunger, then like quote marks and then space, then thirst. Why I did the space thing with the quote marks, longest message, no overload. What? Hello? Oh wait, I think I know what I'm doing wrong. Yeah, okay, so it needs to be a plus icon, I'm sorry. Alright, so the space is basically that we're creating a space between hunger and then thirst. We can also throw in a comma just to make sure that we have it a little bit more organized. Now when we play the game, it's going to print out automatically how much health or how much hunger and thirst we have as a player. So you can see that it's printing out a lot right now. And this may not be very healthy for our game, but at the same time we can at least see how much hunger and thirst our player has. And we obviously don't need this all the time. We're in the future episodes we're going to create a UI for the game so that we can have the players see how much hunger and thirst they have and how much health they have and all that. So it should be like a slider or anything like that, a progress bar perhaps. So no trouble there. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this video. Like, this was very simple, but I wanted to start the series off basic because I didn't really want to get into very like advanced stuff right away. But we have now at least created the ground for a survival game, which is like the hunger, thirst, the health, you know, stamina, etc. So we have that going for ourselves, which is good. And in the next episode, we're probably going to get into inventory so that we have that done for the players, so that we can start adding loot. You know, we can add enemies so that we can kill the enemies and gain some loot from there. Chopping down trees, because we like a lot of the factors we're going to play around with is going to focus heavily onto the inventory. So I just want to get done with it right away, and therefore I believe that we will start creating it by the next video. And let me know if you have any other feedback or any other suggestion on what I should cover up, etc. For the moment being, I'm really enjoying this series, and I hope you guys are doing as well. And if you are doing, make sure to leave a like down below. It really supports the video. And also hit the subscribe button to stay up to date for new episodes of the series and a lot of different tutorial videos and speed level designs, etc. And also leave a comment once again stating what you think of this series and if you have any feedback, etc. And with that being said, I'll catch you guys in the comments. See you guys. Peace out. Bye bye.
Now we're surprised in a Cleveland car park, and forming my new Texas swing.